Now, at this stage of the tutorial, you will have selected your cases, you may well have written your cases, and your teaching note for the case. This part of the tutorial looks at actually teaching with cases. Now, we must recognise that in doing case-based teaching, using cases as part of the instructional approach, that there are some significant differences between the way we facilitate the learning experience as compared to more traditional lecture type approaches. Now, invariably, there are similarities and certain fundamental things that as teachers, irrespective of whether we're lecturing or getting students involved in some active learning approach, of which cases is an example, there are core principles of human conduct, fairness, respect, as well as good presentation skills. However, as a case-based teacher, there are a number of things that you have to do well that are not so prevalent in more lecture-based approaches. You've got to be able to respond very situationally to what's going on around you, because you can't predict exactly what the student response is going to be. For example, students may not speak, so you need to have some strategy to encourage participation. So the ability to ask good questions, to open up the discussion, to focus on particular areas that you want the case to address. Developing and using good questions is a key skill component in case-based teaching. Equally, you've got to be very observant to what's going on in the group. You've got to pick up not just on what people are saying, but their body language. So very good listening skills are important in case-based teaching. Also, you've got to be prepared to be brave in certain situations where students are saying things that you feel may not be substantiated by fact, that they're very strong opinions that other students could simply take on because they actually don't know much about the topic. So you've got to be prepared to, in an appropriate, thoughtful, respectful way, challenge assumptions, particularly in areas of prejudice. So you've got to be prepared to have very good use of voice and body language to get students to open up, explain what they mean, not show your valuations necessarily about what they're saying. Because your role in that situation is get students to do the exploration. You are facilitating the dialogue. You are at certain points summarising things, emphasising perhaps important parts. So you are guiding the process and in some way structuring it, but not determining it and imposing a particular view on the issues that are very much part of this case situation. It requires a lot of skills to do this well. In the following slides, we'll highlight some of these skills a little bit more. However, the underpinning skill set or overarching set of skills, whichever terminology you want, is essentially good facilitation skills and practices. I have an online tutorial on this, and I suggest that you use that in conjunction with this section, because I will highlight some of the key things. The online tutorial on facilitation skills takes these in much greater detail. So see these two things as working together. But it's a skill set that's really useful to learn, not just for case-based teaching, but for any active learning situation or methods that you might use at some future time.